Here's a harsh reality about corporate mergers. When big banks swallow smaller ones, real people lose their livelihoods. And Minnesota just got a painful reminder of this truth. Indiana-based Old National Bancorp has announced it will permanently eliminate 244 positions at a Twin Cities support facility, following its massive $1.4 billion acquisition of Bremer Bank that finalized this past May. The decision affects workers at the Lake Elmo Service Center, located on Eagle Point Boulevard, where employees handle everything from customer service calls to loan processing and IT support. But here's where it gets controversial. While Old National frames this as necessary business integration, critics might argue these cuts prioritize shareholder profits over Minnesota workers who faithfully serve their communities for years. The timeline for these workforce reductions paints a sobering picture. Most affected employees will receive their pink slips during October and November, with Old National stating that all separations will occur before the end of 2026. The bank has notified Minnesota's Department of Employment and Economic Development about the cuts, which span various roles including accountants, loan specialists, and customer support representatives. To put this in perspective, the Lake Elmo facility at 8555 Eagle Point Boulevard serves as a crucial operational hub, managing customer inquiries and providing essential back-office functions like information technology services, loan administration, security operations, and human resources support. Old National executives claim they've spent recent months meeting with former Bremer team members to discuss post-merger opportunities. Some workers discovered their positions would be eliminated during these conversations. Imagine learning your job is disappearing while your new corporate owners discuss integration synergies. However, the bank emphasizes that over 900 former Bremer employees will continue working within the merged organization. Throughout this evaluation process, we have focused on treating every team member with respect, transparency, and care, explained Old National spokeswoman Kathy Shetland. She added that company leadership continues working with displaced employees to identify alternative opportunities within the expanded organization. And this is the part most people miss. Bremer Bank wasn't just another regional financial institution. Before its sale, this Minneapolis-based bank ranked as Minnesota's second largest homegrown financial institution, managing approximately $16 billion in customer deposits. What made Bremer truly unique was its ownership structure. The bank was majority controlled by a charitable trust established by its founder, St. Paul entrepreneur Otto Bremer. When the acquisition was announced last year, Bremer employed roughly 1,500 people, with 1,200 of those positions held by Minnesotans. The bank's footprint stretched across 70 branch locations throughout Minnesota, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. Bank leadership has remained tight-lipped about additional potential layoffs affecting Minnesota workers or whether the merger might result in branch closures or real estate consolidation. The backstory behind this sale reveals a fascinating and contentious corporate drama that unfolded over several years. Back in 2019, Bremer Financial explored merging with Great Western Bankshares. However, the charitable trust's trustees disagreed with this strategy, believing an outright sale would generate better returns. They countered by putting the trust's ownership stake up for sale, which prompted the bank to file a lawsuit. This legal battle stretched on for 5 grueling years. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison launched an investigation and intervened in court proceedings, alleging that 3 trustees had violated their fiduciary responsibilities. The case eventually reached a settlement last summer. A Ramsey County District Court judge removed 1 trustee but dismissed most of the allegations against the others. When Old National and Bremer finally announced their deal last November, it created what would become Minnesota's third largest bank by deposit volume. The purchase price, with 78% paid in Old National stock, fell short of earlier valuations that had estimated Bremer's worth at around $2 billion. Since the deal's completion on May 1st, Bremer has operated as a division within Old National's expanding empire. Bank officials have indicated that a comprehensive facilities and systems conversion is scheduled for mid-October. These workforce reductions shouldn't surprise anyone who followed the acquisition process. When the deal was announced 9 months ago, industry observers anticipated significant job cuts. Old National's early projections estimated approximately $111 million in cost savings. And such savings typically come from eliminating duplicate positions and consolidating operations. Old National has aggressively expanded through acquisitions in recent years, more than tripling its asset base. Last year alone, the publicly traded institution acquired Capstar Bank, which operated in Tennessee and North Carolina, adding $3.1 billion in assets to its portfolio. In 2022, Old National merged with Chicago-based First Midwest, nearly doubling the company's size overnight. But here's the million-dollar question that deserves serious discussion. When out-of-state corporations acquire beloved local institutions like Bremer Bank, especially one founded on charitable principles, do these deals truly serve Minnesota communities, or do they primarily benefit distant shareholders? Considering Bremer's unique charitable trust structure was designed to benefit local communities, one has to wonder, are these job cuts betraying Otto Bremer's original vision? And with Minnesota losing another homegrown banking institution to corporate consolidation, what does this mean for the state's financial independence and local economic control? What's your take on this situation? Do you believe these layoffs were an unavoidable consequence of business efficiency? Or could Old National have found ways to preserve more Minnesota jobs? Should there be stronger protections for workers when charitable trust-owned companies get sold to out-of-state corporations? Share your thoughts. This conversation affects real families and communities across our state.